Special Investigating Unit, the Special Tribunal, has issued summons to 13 non-profit organizations implicated in unjustified enrichment emanating from the Life Esidimeni scandal. Now, in 2017, 144 psychiatric patients died after the Gauteng Department of Health cancelled its contract with Life Esidimeni and moved thousands of patients to other NGOs. The NGOs allegedly submitted fraudulent invoices and ended up being overpaid. For more on this, I'm joined now in the studio by Advocate Selby Makgotho, the SIU Tribunal spokesperson. Advocate, it's good to have you.
Thank you very much and good afternoon. Good afternoon to the viewers.
So Judge Moseneke completed his report and part of what he said was SIU go and investigate this matter of these NGOs that unfairly benefited from this mass project of removing patients from Life Esidimeni to the NGOs. The SIU has completed its work and now they have given you the cases to go after them.
No, correct. Maybe just to explain something and put it into proper perspective. Justice Moseneke made recommendations, made findings. He was commissioned by the department, by the Gauteng provincial government, so he has since handed over his report to the Premier of Gauteng. So it's the Premier of Gauteng who forwarded the report to the SIU. So maybe that needed to be put into perspective. Yes, you are correct. The SIU has since conducted investigations, and as we speak, almost 18 defendants have been identified. So those are the cases that have been completed. There might still be other cases coming through to the tribunal. So as it happened is that, as and when the process unfolded is that we received the files from the SIU. That is the first files that we have received since the establishment of the tribunal. And it is quite apparent that there are irregularities. There are answers that are being sought. Yeah. There is some cases that need to be heard. People need to be heard. They need to come to the tribunal to give their side of the story. So it is on that premise that the findings, the report has been made and the tribunal has now issued summons. We are at a point wherein the sheriff is in the process of delivering the summons, and we are waiting for the return of service. That is where we will be able to put the matter on the court roll.
So 27 NPOs implicated in this particular scandal, but 13 so far being served with summons. Not to mean that the rest are not going to be served. You're saying investigations are still ongoing, and as and when you receive the next batch, you will then proceed.
Certainly. Look, we might not necessarily know, or as a tribunal, we may not necessarily say to the SIU, investigate this and then give us these files. They have to do their work diligently and without being put under any form of pressure. So our expectation is that we are quite mindful of the numbers that have been initially mentioned of the NPOs. But then when we got the first batch of cases, we had about six cases, and all in all, we are talking of about 13 NPOs. One case, different claims. For all of them, that is undue enrichment. Basically, what it means or what it entails is that people have been overpaid. There is that prima facie evidence of people having been paid, and that is taxpayers' money. That is why the tribunal is now out there to say, because remember, the tribunal's core mandate is to work on civil litigation, to recover, to recoup the money from the perpetrators. So that is exactly what, in a nutshell, we will be focusing on.
So respond to me to a report on Times Live that says the tribunal, on top of money that is to be recovered, allegedly for those bogus, overpriced invoices, you are also seeking to recover interest that the organizations earned irregularly from that payments.
Yes, no, certainly. Remember, that is 10%. That is at the current calculatable rate is at 10%. If a person has taken this, there was that irregular awarding of a contract or any undue money that was received by any of these NPOs, it has to be worked on it will be worked on an interest base that is at 10.5%. What that means primarily is that from the date where the service was allegedly granted to a date where in the judgment is going to be granted, So that period is also taken into consideration. So we are going to be applying the law based on the calculated interest at this point in time, which is at a rate of 10.5%.
It seems to be a moving target because on Monday when the reports came out, you were saying the first batch that was given to you, you were looking at an amount of 2 million rands. Now I see it's sitting at 5.5 million rands.
Don't even be surprised if tomorrow then I come with another increased figure, because as and when we go through the files, we realize that there is more rot that is that has been happening. Yes, at the moment, as of today, having verified with the registrar, the litigations that we are about to commence, in fact, that we have commenced because we've already issued summons. Yeah. We are in an effort or on a drive to recover almost an amount of 5.5 million. So as and when the files come through from the SIU, relating to this Life Esidimeni saga, the figures obviously will increase. So as and when we go through the files, we realize that the amounts also increase. That is the unfortunate part of it.
So you are giving the NPOs 10 days to respond or to raise objections. What exactly are you expecting to get from them, and what would then be the next step that would follow?
Well, in terms of the uniform rules of the High Court, once the proceedings commence in a form of an action through the summons, the parties, in particular the defendants, will be given an opportunity to, in fact, before that, even the sheriff, the process flow is that the sheriff will go through, and then there should be a return of service. That is a confirmation that indeed the party has been served, and the defendant has been served. And once that takes place, there will be a return of service. The defendant will then go into a process of filing a notice of intention to defend, if any, and then from there it will be an exchange of documents. It will be replies, counters, and all these things, up until we come to a process of close of pleadings. That is where now we are convinced that there have been enough notices, there's been sufficient exchange of documents, and that is where the matter will be placed on the court roll. This is a slightly different to a motion procedure wherein we are dealing with the form of affidavits, or in case of an urgent applications. That can be done as quick as possible. But we are also mindful of the fact that one of the terms of reference for the tribunal is to fast track the recovery of money, and also the targeted estimated of 15 billion that we are in the process of working on. We have only 3 years. So within these 3 years, there is a lot of work to be done, but we would not want to be in a position where we end up compromising the quality of the tribunal or the civil litigation itself.
So Justice Moseneke is saying in his findings that officials behave unconstitutionally.
Correct.
In terms of how this matter was handled. Also, seemingly acting to benefit themselves directly from this particular move, be it financially or otherwise. And my question then is, the NPOs have been served. What about those officials implicated in this particular matter who possibly could have also benefited?
You know, one of the things that actually we keep on saying is that these NPOs were not working alone. Obviously, if ever I submit an invoice to you, and there are no checks and balances in place to check that what has been submitted, indeed the work has been done. So, as and when the tribunal will be doing its work, there will be instances where witnesses have to be subpoenaed, and they will be cross-examined. The tribunal rules and regulations do stipulate that where in instances where any documentation that may be necessary towards resolving a particular dispute is required, it will be requested from any of the parties. Okay. So we expect instances where also the officials, some of the officials, of course, it cannot be all of them, some of the officials will be required to come and give their side of the story, so that when a decision or a finding or a judgment ought to be granted at the end of the whole process, all the parties would have been given an opportunity to come and give their side of the story. That is in relation to the Audi Alteram part-time rule.
I appreciate your time. We are completely out of time. We'll bring you back in here because 14 billion is the actual amount that you're looking at, and the Life Esidimeni portion of it is just the beginning. So we need to speak to you at least in the next 3 years to find out how the other cases are going. But
No, we'll definitely appreciate an opportunity to come and give updates on a regular basis.
I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
This is Advocate Selby Makgotho. He is speaking on behalf of the Special Tribunal, now carrying on the recovery of the funds in the Life Esidimeni scandal.